Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you and formally open this session of electricity and gas market integration in Southeast Europe. First of all, I would like to thank the chairman and the executive director of VIIa, Kostis Tambonis, for his great efforts, for a great job in VIIa. I would like to, first of all, to introduce myself. My name is Andreas Petropouleas. I'm the managing director of Elpedison and member of a board and chairman of VII's Electricity Committee. It's a pleasure for me to introduce our speakers today, who are going to talk to us about the electricity and gas market integration in Southeast Europe. Let me introduce our guests. We have together with us Mr. Professor, actually, George Ioannou, who is CEO of NX Group in Greece. Mr. Tamer Emre, Director of Market Operation in Energy Exchange Istanbul in Turkey. Mr. Konstantin Konstantinov will join us in 10 minutes, has an urgent call and will be here in 10 minutes, who is CEO of IPEX, the Independent Bulgaria Energy Exchange in Bulgaria. And Mr. Milos Mladenovic, who is the Managing Director of Southeast European Power Exchange, SIPEX, in Serbia. Before I give the floor to our guests, I would like to do a small introduction. European energy markets are experiencing a unique shock. In the first quarter of 2022, short-term gas prices on the largest European exchange were 5 times higher than 2021. Today, Europe finds itself at the heart of an international energy storm driven by turbulence in natural gas market. In recent months, natural gas and electricity prices have spiked to record highs, causing potentially significant economic impacts. This includes multiple negative effects on power companies, other businesses and industrial sectors, and of course, final consumers, in some cases resulting in government intervention to limit the damage. The current geopolitical context, marked by the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the high volatility of prices in the energy sector, requires immediate and long-term behavior adjustment within the current market-based framework. Today's energy crisis is a wake-up call. The energy crisis has put the other two pillars of the energy system, reliability and affordability, in the spotlight again. The reliability of energy systems is no longer a guarantee. The current energy crisis calls for a rebalancing of priorities from a sustainability or renewables energy only approach towards a balanced approach that includes the reliability and affordability of the European energy systems. The European Commission on Wednesday, 18th of May 2022, published its plan setting out how the European Union can eliminate its dependency on Russian fossil fuels. The plan covers 4 main areas: energy efficiency and savings, energy supply diversification, clean energy transition acceleration, and investment and reform. Of course, what you see here is the position of EU Energy Commission. Does not mean that everybody agrees. It would be national capitals that determine the success of a plan. Most of the proposed measures require either national implementation or coordination between EU countries. Repower EU shows convincingly that by acting together, the EU could optimize its response to the energy crisis. But EU countries must decide to what extent to engage in this cooperation. Each country will have to make concessions. Millions of people are wondering when will energy prices go down again. What happens in Ukraine is a big factor. Energy prices are unlikely to fall in 2022 or beyond. The future of energy prices is uncertain, and consumer energy costs will remain historical high and volatile for some time to come. You can see the graph. Russia earned 93 billion in revenue from fossil fuel exports in the first 100 days of the war. The EU imported 61% of this, which is 57 billion euro. The reduction in demand and the discounted price of Russian oil cost of the country approximately 200 million euro per day in May. Nevertheless, Russia still made an estimated 880 million euro per day from energy exports compared to 1.1 billion euro per day in January and February 2022. In the first 2 weeks, imports increased to the highest volume observed this year, but have declined afterwards, falling 30% year on year in May. However, Gazprom revenues is still twice as high as the year before due to the high prices. So you can understand that the war must stop. Otherwise, the prices will remain very high. This is a fact. Russia has to support the war. So the only way to support the war is the prices to be very high in order to have these revenues that I show you here. Here you can see the map of European market, the day-ahead market, and comparison between 2010 and 2021. The countries that are missing with a cycle on the right is how we call Western Balkan 6. Here are the countries that are member of WB6, and you can see the states of each country for the day-ahead market. So the increasing ambition of the Western Balkan parties to attract new market-based investment into renewables is accelerating the establishment of day-ahead markets, a prerequisite for market coupling and development of competition in the region small electricity markets. 5 years after the launch of Serbian Power Exchange, SIPEX, which is the only operational day-ahead market in the Western Balkans, all other parties, except Bosnia and Herzegovina, are a step away from setting up a day-ahead market. And just the last slide regarding the gas. Here you can see how the market goes, the natural gas market goes in Southeast Europe. On 21st July 2021, a memorandum of understanding about trans-regional cooperation of the development of integrated Southeast Eastern and Eastern European gas market was signed by the Energy Community Secretariat, Energy Exchange and Trading Service Providers. The signatories aim to cooperate on the development of cross-border natural gas trading on exchange platforms and introduce transparent and competitive interregional market-based pricing mechanism, and efficient cross-border gas transmission and interoperability. Greece has a potential to become an important supply source for the region. A gas trading platform is currently in operation by HENEX in collaboration with VESFA. The new platform is expected to increase the natural gas quantities traded and transited through Greece while improving the liquidity of the natural gas market in the wider region of Southeast Europe. Thank you. I would like to ask from Mr. Ioannou to come, pass the floor.
Andrea, thank you very much for the introduction. And I would also like to thank VIIa for organizing this very important event that has been organized for many years, and it's continuously successful and offers to the dialogue of regional cooperation and expansion of all the activities that brings us closer as neighbors rather than creating differences. I'm Professor George Ioannou, and I'm the CEO of the Energy Exchange Group. Energy Exchange, the Hellenic Energy Exchange is basically the nominated electricity market operator for power spot, also the operator of energy derivatives market. And as Andreas has said, we are operating a trading platform for gas during the last 3 months. And we have a subsidiary 100% owned by NX, which is NX Clearing House, which deals with risk management, clearing, and settlement for both power and gas spot markets. And also we have a unique characteristic in Europe, I would say, that we also provide the clearing and settlement services for positions in the balancing market. Athens Clear, on the other hand, the clearing house of the Athens Stock Exchange, provides the clearing services for the derivatives market. In terms of our shareholders, we have the major TSOs of our country, VESFA, VIIa, and the PEP, the Athens Stock Exchange and the Cyprus Stock Exchange, giving the stock exchange approach to our directions, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development that provides all this European perspective, and especially in developing countries, and is one of the key shareholders concerning our interaction with the SIGAS project and other issues that relate to the, let's say, the vertical western eastern corridor that starts from Greece and goes all the way up to Ukraine. It's a new company, HENEX, established in 2018. Actually, tomorrow we're going to have our 4th birthday. But I want to state some dates that are very important for us. It was November of 2020 that we moved from day-ahead scheduling into the target model, one of the last countries in Europe, but it went very smoothly, very successfully, without any technical difficulties. And the two couplings that took place both with Italy in December 2020 and with Bulgaria in 2021, with the help of our friends in Bulgaria and Italy, all these projects concluded successfully and without any technical difficulties. We also, since September 2021, we operate the CRIDAS, the complementary regional intraday auctions, and in March we introduced the natural gas trading platform. By the end of the year, the final milestone of the target model will be achieved, so we will have XBID, the continuous trading at the intraday level, and this is something that we want to happen, and all our neighbors as well. Now, I don't want to say a lot of things about integration, but I want to stick to what PXs do and why they're important in any aspect of integration within the region or within Europe. First of all, the integrated market is a pan-European strategic direction. Because in Europe, we want to achieve a fully integrated, interconnected, and digitalized energy market and a power sector that is largely based on the renewable sources. And within all this, the power exchanges play a critical role. Why? Because they are the entities that contribute to a creation of a seamlessly integrated and interfaced energy market. And why is that? Because the power exchanges, they benefit market participants through standardized trading and clearing procedures. We have seen that in Greece after we moved from DAS to the target model. The PXs enhance also the regional energy market, and a pure indicator of that is the coupling with neighboring countries. What we have experienced through the coupling with Italy and Bulgaria is true integration of the systems in the different parts of this connection. And the PXs, the power exchanges, contribute to a smooth transition towards the European market coupling integration. Now, what is the benefit of an integrated market, and why do we have to cooperate, in a sense, at the local level? An integrated market promotes increased liquidity. It offers transparency, it develops efficiency, and leads to social welfare. Why? Because if we have a market with a lot of power trading in and out, this creates depth in the market. The liquidity offers price discovery, and price discovery gives the proper price signals. And these price signals and the price formation mechanism provides sufficient incentives for all investments. What we're experiencing now is these dramatic changes, increases in terms of the prices, but this is not a phenomenon that cannot be explained. It goes back to the basics of the market, because we have scarce resource, and this drives all development. Trying to create problems, caps, constraints into that, the only thing that it will do, it will affect the proper evolution of the market, and it will delay investments. We need the investments, not right now, and power exchanges provide signals towards that direction. The coupling, on the other hand, is something that gives an optimized outcome for the use of electricity resources at the level of interconnections. Energy, electricity, is not a typical commodity. It's a commodity that's necessary for the life of a nation, the life of the people that live in there. So basically, we have to always keep in mind that the goal, even at the PX level and at the markets, is optimization, maximization of social surplus. The integrated market provides price conversions across the EU market and ensures optimal flows from the cheap zones to the expensive zones. And we see that even now. For example, usually Greece is a country that imports from its neighbors. During the last few days, we see an increase of exports. And there is reason behind that, because the line with Italy is down, the prices have changed, we see dramatic waves that are happening at Western Europe. So there is always a reason, and that's why the integration of localities is important for development. Here you see a picture of the fuel mix of EU countries for 2021. And you see why Italy, Greece, and the countries in the Iberian Peninsula, they suffer a lot from what is happening today, because they rely dramatically on natural gas. It's not the same in Poland, it's not the same in Norway. So that's why governments are trying to do something. I don't know that if everything is in the right direction. Let's hope so. Now let's see what's happened in Greece after we introduced the target model. We see the evolution, of course, you see the big price increases, but also we have to underline that if we could have more RES and more hydros, the prices would have been a little bit lower. However, the trends are following the European model, the European evolution. One thing that I want to stress is this chart here that shows that integration via coupling is something that drives the homogenization of prices across the bidding zones. And you see what happened between us, Italy, and Bulgaria. Nearly the same prices, price evolution that is similar, and when one country, one zone, prices increase over there, we see that the flow goes in the proper direction. And you can see that here as well. The imports accounted for 15.33% of the fuel mix, and more than half of that was the result of market coupling. The same applies for exports. And an important thing is that more than half of the market time units, the Greek dump price was equal to that of the Bulgarian bidding zone. While 31% of MTUs, it was equal to that of the Italian bidding zone. So that means that, yes, there is efficient allocation of interconnect capacity and increased social welfare. You can see a graph here that represents what I told you before. You see the balance between implicit and explicit exports. One thing that I want to mention is that we understand very well why there is a flow between coupled zones. We understand it very well because we see the prices, we know the prices, and we know that it has to flow from Greece to Italy or from Bulgaria to Greece. We cannot say the same thing for interconnections that are not part of the coupling model of Europe. You see sometimes that there is a lot of inflow from countries that are in the north of Greece, but are not coupled, and we don't really understand why. We understand sometimes the exports because you see what is happening over there, but still there is another agent, some other agents that are involved in this game, and they create some distortions of the. But coupled, that's it. You know the price there, you know the price here, you know what happened. This is a graph of the evolution. We don't see any changes as a profile within the year. And one other thing that I want to mention is that the intraday market is quite low in our country, but we believe that this is artificial because when the renewable energy source providers are balancing and imposing partners, then this will increase a lot their participation in DAM, and the price follows the DAM signals. Now, a few things about why we need this integration. Why do we need to go more towards coupling? Coupled zones lead to price convergence and formation of sound economic signals. We observe volatility, but this is something that can be explained. A lot of participants in Greece, in our DAM market, we have 70 participants, means competition. And also a pan-European algorithm that is respected, despite what are the discussions right now. It is respected. It's an optimization tool based on strong simplex components that cannot be, that the results of it cannot be questioned by anybody. A lot of flexibility for participants to manage their positions and strong pricing discovery mechanisms. And I want to stress again that through coupling, we have optimal utilization of the interconnections and proper flows between zones. Another thing that may be a food for thought for possible cooperation in our area is clearing. Because clearing is indeed, not I would say the most, but one of the very important aspects. And you should have a proper clearing house with the links to the financial institutions and the general clearing members representing participants and proper capital in order to be able to see what is happening through the whole cycle and manage all the resources. And finally, properly use of derivatives because this will allow participants to balance, hedge their positions. Now, additional offerings, end of the year ex-bid. We know that someday we will go to IDAS, Pan-European Intraday Auctions. The participation of demand response in the day-ahead and intraday market, that's important for us, and energy storage, and new products in DAM and intraday. Now, two more slides for mentioning what we're doing in terms of gas, and I believe that this is an opportunity for further cooperation. We have a platform. It was developed by our Energy Exchange Group in cooperation with the Gas TSO and the ATHEX. The platform is compatible with EU regulatory standards and comprises both a trading platform, a trading system, and a clearing system. So it is very robust and we used the basis of our electricity market platform. And we provide continuous trading continuous trading and the auctions of the TSO, and the basic products are within day, day ahead, day plus 2, day plus 3. It's in line with EU Regulation 312 of 2014, and it's designed to provide a comprehensive exchange market for gas suppliers, traders, and consumers along with a robust set of reference prices and index. We see liquidity, it works, it's something that we can use as a basis for further cooperation. We see Bulgarian companies that are participating in the market, Romanian companies, and I think it's a basis for further interaction. So I hope I didn't tell you too many things about PX. Is that my life now? Okay, because I have to every day see what are the price signals, what's the results of the market. And I believe the market works. It operates properly. And interventions should be kept to a minimum. So thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Professor Georgiou. Because I follow the market since the beginning, I have to admit that Henex has done a very good job all the previous years. Congratulations.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you very much.
And something else because you have mentioned about the intervention in the market. Because I'm part of the market, works very well all the last years. We need more integration. Now, this period, we have an energy crisis. The gas is very high. This does not mean that the model has a problem. Just the situation is difficult. So we have to leave the market to work. I would like Mr. Tamer Emre, who is the Director of Market Operation and Exchange Istanbul, from Turkey, to give us a presentation.
First of all, thank you very much to Mr. Stampolis and the organization for such beautiful platform. It is very important to discuss that issues on the same area for all the players. From Turkish perspective, we gave already some informations, and I don't want to spend much time for you, and just want to share with you some angles, maybe approaches from our market perspective. I want to give some brief information about the installed capacity that is already given in the presentations. We have about 100 gigawatt capacity in Turkey. And yes, we are also depending in base load to the coal and the gas. Yes, that's right. But on the other hand, as you know, we already accelerated the renewable investments in our country. That was not the magic, actually. We prepared and implemented many regulations in the same time. Some of the participants mentioned about the regulation updates and the procedures about the licensing. We already passed this road, actually, and we prepare ourselves very well. By this way, yes, we are a hydro country. On the other hand, we accelerated our renewables in our country. Why I'm trying to explain these very simple information for you? We had a crisis in 2021. It was about the resources, and resources affects on our markets. how you manage the resources by the regulation. So the preparation phase is very important for the market operations. In our market operations, about the 2021, the share is about 40% is day-ahead markets. It is actually not far from the past examples. However, the bilateral contracts part is very important when we are examining a crease in our markets. So you need to follow every situation in the consumption and the generation side. You need to be informed about it. What is the situation at the player side? There are some numbers about the 2021. You can see, as in Europe and the other countries, we have almost doubled the reference prices in the day-ahead market. And the volumes are rising depending on the consumption. This is very clear. What we have in gas market, yes, the consumption is also rising. On the other hand, we have three parts in the electricity and gas market. The generation part, consumption part, and also we are generating, especially in gas markets, we are generating electricity from the gas. So we need to focus, we need to concentrate on also the investors and the players. We need to understand in which situation they are. Yes, we have some interconnections and abilities to get tube gas, also LNG, but this is not the all preparation for that kind of situation. The main factor is we are preparing ourselves, we are examining that kind of situation in ministerial level and the legislation level, that much. This is the World Bank Energy Non-Energy Indices. The price increase was huge. Nobody can expect that kind of prices before that time. This is very clear. So I want to tell you something. It is not only the war situation. Before that, we had, after pandemic, coal crisis, coal price crisis. And we have a chain. After that, climate change. It is a difficult season in the summer last year. That was affected on all the markets that much. It was the war situation is end of the year, but we examined all the difficulties in the same basket last year. And I want to give our price example according to timetable. In Turkey, our prices are not that extremely high comparing with the all Europe's day-ahead market prices. Actually, what we experienced last year, almost all the market participants have difficulties about the imbalances. This is very clear. because of the sources, they couldn't pass their bilateral contracts, or they couldn't balance their volumes on the electricity markets. So imbalances were the problem, which is effective on the collaterals. We actually update some regulations past year on imbalances and collaterals. We had some difficulties like UK and Europe about the customer portfolios. They give up their eligible customer portfolio to balance the market consumption. This was very difficult for the players. Let's remember, because of this reason, the intraday market volume rises too much comparing with the past years. Also, energy costs, as I mentioned, doubles itself past year. End user price increase we passed in the household side and customer side. We had huge prices. Long-term bilateral contract impossibilities affected on the electricity market also past year. By these troubles, difficulties, we managed this system actually by regulations and our software, our good operation skills, because we examined many times that kind of situations. But as I mentioned, I'm trying to separate the reasons of the crisis in the timetable. It was not the only reason for price increase past year. Again and again, before the finish of the previous problem, we examined another problem. So we need to, what I'm trying to tell is, shortly, we need to focus and concentrate on the problems of the players first. Yes, we need more investment, we need more capacity, we need more connectivity. On the other hand, at the end of the time, as market operators, we are defining, calculating the reference prices, but reference prices is affecting on everybody. So we need to follow all the situations around us. Last 2-3 slides are about the consumption and available capacity in that seasons, and the renewable availability, especially for the wind, which save us in the angle of day-ahead market price calculations. Thank you very much for everybody for listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Tmer. I have to say that, the last years I follow the Turkish market, and there is a huge development indeed. The last 20 years, huge development in the Turkish market. Mr. Emre show you all the details and the graphs. So I would like just to say that we need more cooperation the next years. I think it's Turkish is a mature market, can join, let's say, European market as well. This is at least my hope, the next, let's say, decades. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask Mr. Konstantinov,
Yeah, thank you, Andreas.
the CEO of IPEX Bulgaria.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good afternoon from my side. First, like to thanks Mr. Stambolis and Mr. Neko for inviting me and giving me the possibility to be here. And we at IBEX are happy to support this event. George gave us so many details about the market integration and the market situation in Greece and the region. So I will only add a couple of slides and hope that they will be good base for discussion after that if we have time. First, some details about IBEX. This is the Bulgarian Power Exchange and was established in the beginning of 2014. After that, almost 2 years later, during January 2016, we made the go live of the day-ahead market. After that, in 2018, we introduced the intraday market and managed to make the first coupling on an intraday level on the Bulgaria-Romanian border during the month of October 2019. After that, last year, we, together with Greece and Romania, completed the two coupling projects, Bulgaria-Greece and Bulgaria-Romania, part of the single day-ahead coupling market, European market. Now we are working, and I hope that during the last quarter of this year, we will manage to complete the fourth wave of single intraday coupling, and we will complete the LIP 14 coupling on the intraday level on Bulgarian-Greek border. What we have from European perspective about market couplings and market integration. Actually, last week, together with my colleagues from Europex, this is an association of all European power and gas exchanges, celebrated 20 years anniversary of this organization. Actually, exactly 12 years ago, the idea for the single model of European market coupling market was introduced, and that happened during 2002. And 20 years later, we can say that the day-ahead markets in Bulgaria, in the European Union mainly, are fully coupled. You can see here in the blue or green that we had only one border between Croatia and Hungary that was not coupled, but actually it is coupled for a couple of days when all European exchanges completed the so-called core project, and according to this, all European members' borders are coupled. Actually, now the future is I'm looking to my friend Milos. The future is to the West Balkan 6 and to Turkey according to the coupling on the head level. About the intraday level, where I like to focus our attention, as I mentioned, we managed to include IBEX in the Italian border working table project, where now we are waiting to be coupled, as I said, during the last quarter of this year on Bulgaria-Greece border. What is the main steps for intraday in Bulgaria from now on? We have already implemented an API for IDM. We have I think 10 or 15 members that are currently using the API. It is very useful because the robot trading, when we have continuous trading, is very popular. And I hope that all of our active members slowly will begin to use the API on the intraday. On the 1st of October this year, together with our SO, we are planning to introduce 15 minutes products on the intraday, and they will also be a single intraday coupling and exhibit products on the Bulgarian-Romania border as a beginning. The next is the coupling with Greece, and as George said, during the next few years we will be obliged to introduce on intraday auctions. As a beginning, I think the current planning is to have 3 auctions a day on the intraday level. Why are intraday markets so interesting, and the coupling on the intraday market is so important? Actually, the traders do not like probably the coupling on the day-ahead markets, because improving the automatization of the trading and this more efficient usage of cross-border transmission capacities are lowering the arbitrage between the market zones. But this is not the case with the intraday market, because according to the coupling, and having in mind that they are working according to the continuous trading mechanism, like the stock exchange markets, we have enormous depth, and everybody from the traders, producers, and consumers can rely on this huge depth on the market, and many participants, both sides selling and buying. We have hourly and block products on the intraday, and as I said, we will introduce 15 minutes products as a beginning as a local ones, and as exhibit products on Bulgarian-Romanian border. Currently, we have a little bit more than 70 active members on the intraday, and you can see above 3 terawatt hours traded volumes already. But you can see the volumes year by year, and the enormous increasement of the volumes after the coupling. Actually, without the coupling, the local intraday market in Bulgaria has almost no liquidity. The coupling is very important for the liquidity. Just a few words about the day-ahead. This is the most important segment at the spot markets. Interesting here is the moments of coupling, first with Greece in May last year, and after that during October last year with Romania. Of course, we have a little bit increasement of the liquidity, but however, practically the market zones were in coupled mode before the coupling, because we have very good connectivity, physical connectivity with Romania especially. So we have very good volumes on the day ahead currently. I think it's almost 100,000 megawatts hours per day. Just to repeat our main next steps, introducing 15 minutes products on the intraday, starting from the 1st of October this year. After that, during the last quarter of this year, we will introduce an API on the day-ahead market, and we will complete the coupling with Greece on the intraday. After that, we will introduce intraday auctions, and in 2 or 3 years, we'll be ready with the 15 minutes products on the day ahead. They are so late, or not late, but planned to be introduced in a couple of years, because there is a lot of work according to the actualization of this common algorithm VIIa that everybody using to calculate the clearing prices and volumes on the day ahead. I'd like to conclude with this Acer statement about the European market model. As Andrea and George said, actually the market is functioning well, because there is a discussion about the calculation of the prices, if to be pay as clear or pay as bid. Finally, the statement of Acer is that the market is functioning well. All of us have to be very careful with some obligation and some changes that are proposed to be made to the market. And probably the most important thing is to improve the market makers' activity in order to increase the volumes and the liquidity in order to present more fair prices. I'll be happy to be here, and if there are some comments or questions, I'll be happy to reply. Thanks a lot.
I would like to thank Mr. Konstantinov about his presentation and about the info about the market and the updates. We are together, we are coupled with Bulgaria. I remember 20 years ago when I joined the company that I am now. The first trade that we did with Bulgaria, bilateral, where both Greek and Bulgaria markets were isolated. Now we are coupled, and congratulations, Mr. Konstantinov, and your great success and all your trial for the last years.
Thanks.
I would like to ask Mr. Milor Mladenovic, is the managing director of CIPEX. Mr. Mladenovic, thank you very much.
First of all, I would like to emphasize that I'm in person here, so I'm a regular participant on these events, but now I'm really glad that I will be in position to be in person once again, and also to present this ongoing regional initiative, which is, if you allow me to say, fully in line with the main idea of this Costis long-lasting project and long-lasting initiative. As it is already mentioned, in fact, that CEPEX is the only one operational WB6 power exchange, and we are established in 2015 in the form of strategic partnership with the EPEX Spot. And even in that time, CEPEX was more vision and idea than the business case. So idea was to establish some regional trading place, to provide other non-EU countries also know-how and the possibility for cooperation. Unfortunately, some political reasons prevailed the business and economy, and all WB6 countries, they decided to establish their own power exchanges. But in the meantime, of course, we built our liquidity, and we have started discussion with some EU neighbors and some EU power exchanges for the more closer cooperation. And also what is important to emphasize that CEPEX reach significant liquidity even in the isolated mode, which is maybe a unique case in the region, without any liquidity measures, supportive measures. And the main reasons are that we had, full know-how in-house, inside the company. And also one of the most important, I think, feature of CEPEX is harmonized clearing solution with the EU market. So CEPEX clearing is done by the European Commodity Clearing, and we have used these advantages of the some cross-collateralization, netting, and everything else. So currently, CEPEX in 2021 had 3.2 terawatt hours of liquidity in isolated mode, and also there is 27 members for 13 countries currently participate on CEPEX. On the other hand, BSP South Pools is a Slovenian NIMO. It is established in 2008 as the first Southeast European power exchange with a similar idea and similar vision of the regional marketplace. Currently, of course, all spot market segments are available for trading. BSP also participates in all EU initiative and is a part of EU internal market, both for the day-ahead, the intraday, and also for the intraday auctions. And on the BSP currently, there is 33 members trading from 20 countries, and there is a 9.1 terawatt hours traded. Of course, it is in coupling mode, so BSP markets are coupled with all neighboring EU markets. And as you can see, idea and this, currently we are under the closing that will be establishment on one single business infrastructure, with the administrative headquarters will be in the European Union, but with the main offices in Belgrade and Ljubljana. So what is the vision? So our vision is to provide, how I say, the open door for cooperation for all, both existing power exchanges and for the maybe new markets. Of course, my friends here, they already, how I say, here is operational power exchanges. As of course, it will be several, how I say, modus operandi. So for some, it will be pure business cooperation through the market coupling project. So I will tell a little bit later how I say more about this. Also, there is a possibility also to establish some kind of synergy. So to use already existing know-how in the power exchanges, as we saw also on the Greek power exchanges, there is available gas trading platform and gas clearing solution. Also on our side, there is also, as we mentioned, ECC clearing and also some other know-how. Also for some countries which currently still didn't establish operational power exchanges, we will offer maybe more simple service provision like it is currently done in Montenegro. So we are expecting that, and it will be, I hope, the first market coupling in WB6 country to establish from the first day of Belen operation, also market coupling between Serbia and Montenegro. And of course also ADEX is open for very close cooperation with both existing and new power exchanges to open shareholder structure or to have some merging similar like it was done between SEPEX and the BSP power exchanges. So this is how I say, if you allow me to say this, both BSP and SEPEX vision become live. And I think that it will be also a good role model for all other regional power exchanges, because especially in this time of these very high prices, the one of the very important topic become this collateralization and financial resources needed for the PX operation. And I hope, of course, that we will establish very fruitful and long-lasting cooperation, close cooperation with all neighboring partners, power exchanges. Of course, what is the main advantage and the main priorities of the ADEX? As I have already mentioned, so the idea is to establish one-stop shop for the market participants using the best practice from both companies. So in fact, that to establish one single trading platform both for the day-ahead and intraday market, and one single clearing platform in the European commodity clearing. So that means that market participants can use the same collateral, same accounts to trading on all ADEX markets. So it will be single membership. There is idea also to harmonize market rules and products, to have harmonized trading processes, single market rules. Also, as I have mentioned, to establish one single trading and clearing system. What is the, how I say, main short-term goals? First of all, first project which is already started is establishment of the Serbian intraday market. Of course, it will be also established according to the best European practice using M7 trading platform and ECC clearing solution. And some high-level goal, I hope it will be, it is realistic that Serbian intraday market will become operational in the first half of the next year. And of course, immediately we will start discussion with our NEMO and TSO colleagues from Europe also to join XBIT platform. On the other hand, it is already mentioned that some regional initiative become more realistic related to the day-ahead coupling of WB6 with the European Union. It is on the last Athens forum, it is emphasized both from the European Commission, energy community, and of course all stakeholders side that this should be a first priority for all involved parties until the end of this year. It is expected that the full CACM regulation and also all other network codes will be fully transposed to the WB6 country legal and regulatory framework. And also what is also important, that this reciprocity with the neighboring East European Commission countries will be also ensured. On our side in Serbia, even last year we have transposed the CACM guidelines. Maybe 99% of guidelines was transposed what was possible in that moment. And this week also, this is the latest news, SEPEX was designated NEMO by the government of the Republic of Serbia. So even now I hope that we become eligible partners for the neighboring NIMOs to join to ESDAC, but of course this envisaged regional development will help a lot, and we got very clear promise and a very clear commitment from the European Commission that now finally WB6 day-ahead markets will be fully eligible to be coupled with the ESDAC market. Idea is that implement this so-called Big Bang approach. As I have mentioned, the first coupling will be some kind of on-the-job training with our Montenegrin colleagues to be implemented in the first half of the next year. But also, idea is to start almost immediately, as soon as possible, to discuss with the ESDAC, with the NIMO colleagues and the TSO colleagues to apply this so-called Big Bang approach and the market coupling with ESDAC on all Serbian borders with the neighboring European NIMOs. There is several ideas, of course, but I think that most efficient approach is to use already established regional project like maybe VIIa working table, Italian border working table, and Konstantin is here, so I will discuss with him, of course, this possibility. Of course, it is also possible to establish some other regional project, but I think that this is really good momentum to speed up this process after several years of discussing about this so-called market coupling hype that everybody discuss about the market coupling. Now market coupling become reality, and through this ADEX infrastructure, I hope that it will be more easier, not just for the Serbian market, but also for all other WB6 market to join to ESDAC, and of course with our help and with the help of our neighboring EU NIMOs, that this goal will become reality. What is also maybe good to be mentioned, that you also, I hope, read this in our press release, that also our Hungarian colleagues are also very interesting for this initiative. You know that we have started this in this trilateral mode. Currently, there is only Serbian and the BSP are, included, but I hope also that very soon Hungarian colleagues will join. And of course, as I have mentioned, we are open for the cooperation with all neighboring power exchanges in several modus operandis, and I'm really confident that this ADEX initiative will become some kind of, front runner for the future establishment of one single business infrastructure in both Southeast European and Central East European regions. Thank you. So this is the latest news. If you have any questions, so I'm open to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mladenovic. Serbia is a critical country, let's say, and very important to be part of the integrated electricity market in Europe. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have any question about this session. Would be useful if there is any question. Otherwise, to finish here. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.